Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Born Political. I've had many guests. I think we're about our 60-something show. I don't know exactly what it is. And we've had, let's say, a lot of older guests. We pretty much, we monopolize that area of our show. I think the oldest we were trying to think of is in the 80s somewhat. We're not going to say the age, but we will say it was an admiral from our Navy. And we've had very good guests. And we've always got perspective of, people that were in politics or working. But what we do tonight and what we, I think, forget often is the perspective of our youth. They affect our economy, our market, everything that we do. We don't realize that when we say, what do the kids really do? They're not working. But when they tell you, let's go to McDonald's, or they say, let's go to a different restaurant, or I want to go to Disney World, they have a huge effect on our economy, a huge effect on what's happening. And for all the old people that I get to talk to, and we all do, we're at work and say these kids aren't like we were. Of course they're not. They learn the same a lot of times, but our world is different. It's changed. And when people say that they're down on the youth, I want to introduce them to all these kids that I get to meet and know. The one I have on the show tonight in particular is just into everything. We're not going to talk about what school she's at, or we're just going to talk about what she's doing. To give you guys a little bit of hope, because when I think of the future, and I know this young lady is going to be a huge part of what happens in town or wherever she lands or whatever she does, I want to give you guys a little bit of hope, because it's what I get to see by seeing all these kids around. We're going to move into the interview here. I have Enaiyah with me today. She's a student. That's all we're going to really say about it, except for we're going to talk about some of the stuff you've been doing. Enaiyah, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. It's nice to be here.
It is nice to be here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what you probably hear all the time, how old are you?
I'm 10.
10. And what we hear all the time is that our kids are our future. I think a little bit differently. I think that our kids are our present. I think if you're here and you're in the economy or you're doing anything, that you are part of what's happening right now. And it's important that, you're good citizens, that you're good students. So how is everything going? How is school? You like it at school?
It's amazing right now, honestly. I would say school is a way for kids to learn, but also in a fun way,
A fun way.
Yeah.
So you guys do a lot of different things than what we did. I mean, we would have a school play, and obviously with technology, if you weren't at the school, you didn't see it. Unless some parent had an old camcorder, you got to see it. Now, you guys will do plays sometimes, and they broadcast them live, right? You'll be on a show, and there could be, 10 people, or there could be whoever on the internet wants to watch can watch a show or watch a play, right?
Yeah.
So now I know you're an actress,
Yes.
right? And you do like that, but it rounds out everything else you do. What do you like best about acting?
What I like about it is not only is it where, not the acting part mostly, but it's also getting to know everyone in the crew and everyone's parts, and then being able to basically fit in with everyone and getting to know everyone a little better. I just think it's a better way to communicate with everyone.
You just described what your whole life is going to be. Those are skills that you can develop that without even noticing. If you've never been in drama, I tell people, if your kid is shy, make them do something like that. If they don't want to sing, give them a mic, make them sing karaoke. We don't have that problem with you. You'll take a mic or you'll sing in front of anything. You've done it. But the way you just described, so the teamwork part of it. So not everybody is in front of the camera, and not everyone has a leading role. But everyone's just as equally as important, because if you showed up and you're the only one on stage by yourself and nothing's getting moved and there's no wardrobe, it's not as good of a show, right?
No, not really.
Not really. So has anything surprised you? So you say you're at the show and last minute, or someone encouraged you on stage where you may have been afraid, or someone that surprised you, like you didn't expect to hear or help, and then all of a sudden
Yeah, so there has been a few times actually. So our main goal is, so actually in the play it's hard to notice, but some people forgot a few lines. That's okay, it's gonna happen. It's not like in this 2-hour play no one's gonna forget one single line, you know? And it all stayed on stage, and what I liked about how after we all got to know each other is that we we knew what who messed up what, who messed up this, and we just kept it going,
Yeah.
You knew the people good enough for them not to say anything.
And then, you think the crowd noticed, or you guys covered for each other, and they kind of just don't notice?
No one
at all?
noticed.
That's the best thing about making mistakes, if you have friends that are backing you up, right? And this show, I call it it's called Born Political. And if you're an adult, and you're getting close, but a lot of people are like, oh no, not another political show where all they talk about is these tough issues. But my belief is everything's political. And I really believe that everyone is political, because you have to be. You're political, like you have a little brother. I know you do. So if you're negotiating what restaurant you're going to go to, or what you want to ask mom and dad to do, that's a little thing between you guys, and there's a little power play there. We're like, no, I don't want to go to this restaurant. We should tell them this one. Or we don't want to go. Or we don't want to go play soccer right now. We want to go to the other field. I don't want to go to Disney. I want to go to, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
There's that little bit of play, and that's why. And everyone thinks politics has to do with the president and but most politics happens every single day in your classroom. Like even on stage. I mean, there's politics involved there. So obviously, you did get a lead role, I think, in one of your last plays, right?
Yes, I did.
You did, and politically speaking, someone didn't. So you really have to, in a supportive wise, how'd the other people work out? Everybody was happy who got the roles, I'm sure, but
Yeah. It was definitely a shocker, It was really like after everyone heard the rules, it was like really a shocker, because they're like, ooh, I thought this guy was going to get this. Oh, I thought she was going to get this. And then it ends up being something totally different. So it's like in acting, you always have to be ready for something to get thrown at you.
Yep.
Because at the last minute, we weren't going to do a certain part of my costume. And at the last second, they're like, I want you to wear this right now, let's go. And 5 minutes before I was on, I had to throw it on and sneak behind stage and try to get back on stage.
Yep. And then, besides acting, you do a few other things. And I know, because I'll disclose that we're somewhat family. We're very, very close. But playing instruments, and I know which instruments do you play?
I play violin and acoustic guitar.
Acoustic guitar. One day, electric guitar on stage going crazy.
Well, we'll see. We'll
see.
We'll see what happens.
So violin now. What made you choose a violin? Because it is an older soul instrument, I think but it is beautiful, and I don't know why. Because you have a choice, right? You could pick from a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, there was 2 reasons. So we got the choice of cello, viola, or violin, and my first choice was violin, and one of them was because I found out at that age what Lindsay Sterling was, and I was like a fan of her, and I wanted to be like
Lindsay
her.
Sterling?
She's a famous violinist.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Young or old?
Maybe 20s.
Okay, so
late
young.
20s maybe.
I don't know her. So if you said Beethoven, I would have known him, but because I think it's the only violinist, probably no. All right, so she kind of inspired you. You saw her.
Yeah. And what also inspired me was it was a high-pitched instrument to annoy my parents.
It was a what?
It was a high-pitched instrument to annoy my parents
To annoy your
also.
parents.
So it was like the best of 2 worlds.
Oh, really? Now, for those of you who can't see, off camera are her parents. So now they know the reason why she picked the instrument. And I think she's a jokester too, because she's very good at jokes. So now you picked the violin, and then the guitar just came naturally, because it's kind of it is somewhat of a crossover instrument, or same motion, same.
So the fingering is definitely different.
Yeah.
This one you go this way, and the other one you have your hand posture a different way. I remember one time we went to one of my parents' friend's house, and my Uncle Frank's house, and we had like a party there and everything. And I remember looking around, and I found this guitar on the floor, so I kind of just strummed the strings a little bit. And I had fun with it, My parents were there watching me, and then on my next birthday, I ended up getting him an instrument, a guitar.
Isn't that awesome how that happens when you have awesome parents?
I know, right?
So and you randomly found a guitar on the ground. That's kind of funny too. But obviously you're inside your uncle's house.
Yeah.
Right? So you play those 2 instruments, and then what else? What else are you doing for like fun? I know you're quite the athlete. There's a lot of stuff, and that's one thing that is different. I will tell you. Growing up, and just like your mom and dad, I know when we played baseball, there was like 3-month period where you played baseball, and it was over, done. and then you'd play basketball or soccer or whatever. There were three sports. Now I know that you're very proficient at softball, and
Yes, I
that's
am.
like one of your loves and you love playing. But how many months do you play that? I mean, and that's what's different now. Like you're playing a lot of games.
Yeah, I would say maybe 7, I think, somewhere around
Around
there.
7 months.
I'm not too sure, honestly.
Yeah, but you play a lot of games, and then what's different is I think when we played, we all were in town, and I think and the reason I ask questions like this is because the people that are my age and your parents' age, you'll say, "Oh, these kids they're not up to anything." Your parents know for sure that that's not true because obviously they're chasing you around and bringing you to all these games.
Yeah.
So now when you go to these games, you're not in Groton all the time.
No,
You
I'm
are
not.
usually not, right? So
No.
were you traveling all over? Or were you-
Since I play for a travel team, we travel all over the place. Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Last year we went to New Jersey for a tournament. So we're kind of all over the place.
And what do you think of that? You like I know the traveling part probably is not the most fun part, but you're being in a car for a lot, but that's where the political part comes in probably.
Yeah.
With you and your brother in the back there, probably.
yeah.
Yep. Plenty of time to have a lot of fun time with your brother in the car and your parents. It's a lot of long trips, but in the end, I know when you love baseball, and it's a good thing. But so what's your favorite part about these travel trips?
My favorite part is probably not so much the traveling part, of course, but when we get there, it's fun because the first thing that pops in my head is that I want to hang out with my friends, And it's fun because, the parents get to hang out with the parents and then the kids have fun. We usually, at the end of the day after a tournament, my favorite time is when all the parents just sit around the pool and all the kids just hop in and play around.
Yep.
It's really fun for just, sometimes for the kids just to kind of, they had a whole day of work and now we can just kind of let it all out,
Yeah. But you'll be gone for a whole weekend, right? You go to these tournaments, and you leave on like a Friday, and then you come back on Sunday, and and I know you guys do a lot of it, but then there's the balance, because then there's days that you might want to say, I wish I was at the beach.
Yeah.
But you got your softball, but that's all part of life. You make choices and you stick with them. Now, how is the team? You guys nasty, or what's going on here? I need to.
Our team is actually doing pretty well right now, I would say. We, of course, need to work on a few things, of course. None of our team is perfect, but I think we're doing awesome right now with our hitting, batting, stuff like that. And I think we're all aware of what's going to happen in the...
You're all aware.
What's going to happen?
So you're aware. So what is going to happen? You're gonna put a lot of pressure on some other teams out there. You guys gonna?
So what's different is, of course, we have a whole line of new girls that play softball, but they've never been to this certain level of softball. And it's kind of like yesterday on Tuesday, the other day, I'm telling them what they're gonna see, and they're like, I didn't sign up for this.
Hold on, are you the veteran on the team now? You're like the old veteran on the team. You've been playing for a while, right?
For a little bit, yeah.
But traveling for a few years, or
this is gonna be my second year.
second year?
Yeah.
So you're just giving people the lowdown on what you saw last year and giving a breakdown.
Kind of like, well, here we go. Let's break this down a little easy.
Yep.
And then I just told them everything, and they're like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah, just a little bit, right? So, but that's what's good about sports. So you do every activity that you're really doing and getting involved in is really getting you ready for later in life, because there's a lot more tough decisions that are going to come your way. It's going to be, what college you go to, what do you want to do with your life, what are you gonna do, and where do you want to live? Like, those are the decisions. They're fun, but they're always scary, because every change is scary, like going to a new team or whatever you have. So, with that being said, like, have thoughts on? And then you're young, but everyone thinks of what they want to be, and astronaut or whatever they got to say. But there's so many different careers now. Like there was, nobody says cybersecurity unless they, I guess, love computers. But that is a huge job.
Yep.
It is a lot of people.
My friend Owen has said that before.
Your friend said it, that
My
he wants to be
friend Owen.
cybersecurity.
Yep, he's like a computer genius.
Well, that's good. See, the world's made for all these different jobs. What do you think you want to do?
I honestly, of course, I want to try to pursue my acting and my instruments and everything, but I'm really looking at trying to be a doctor or something.
A doctor. Wow. Now, what kind of doctor? Like a medical doctor, or someone that like cancer, or just a doctor that is in the emergency room, or have you thought that deep about it?
I haven't thought that deep yet.
Yeah, but a doctor of people, right? Not a
Yeah.
veterinarian, because I hear that a lot from kids because
Yeah.
everyone loves animals.
Yeah, but then they
yeah,
but
but
then they like sign up for it and then they're like, this is so sad.
It is, yeah. But being a doctor can be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a trade that actually, just so you know, there would be a lot of openings because actually, even in our country right now, we have one of the lowest rates of doctors per 100,000 people. It's not like a profession that's really been sought after like for many years now. So I really wish you luck on that because I'm going to need a good doctor probably when you're about the age to be doctoring because I'm old now where I'm afraid I'm going to lose my doctor before me because he's a little old right now. I've already lost one. He was an old man. So and any backup careers or even where you want to go to college, and please say UConn.
I'm thinking UConn, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
But what I'm thinking is...
I don't want to put any pressure on you,
yeah.
but I'm a huge UConn fan.
If I do pursue in my softball, of course, I was talking to my parents, and of course the good schools are in Oklahoma and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I still gotta wait.
Oklahoma's okay. UConn
Okay.
is great. Just remember, there's a way to. And again, I laugh, but if you're ever looking to me to get advice, a lot of times you can actually go, you can YouTube these teams and see, and they interview the players and they talk about what they like best about the college, what they like least. I think anytime you're making, we're talking college, and everyone says, "Oh my God, you're only 10," but at 15, you're really thinking about where you want to go, and that's only a few years away. So, have you thought about any other sports? Because do you play basketball too?
Yes, I do.
You do. Are you as good as yours truly, the guest here? Joe Delacruz is really good at basketball. I don't know if you know that.
You said that last time about something.
It was true. It was.
Was it though?
I think it kind of was. I kind of feel like it was. So you like that? Which one's better? Like which sport do you? And I know when I ask anybody that sport, they tell me the sport that they're playing at the time.
Yeah,
but basketball's always been my favorite.
Yeah.
And then.
I mean, I find softball fun, but a little more pressure. I
Yep.
feel like I get a lot more pressure on that.
Yep.
And then, but in basketball, I feel like it's kind of just let loose.
It's more like gym.
Yeah, it's more like gym.
More like gym time. Well, you've advanced in the other one, because you're not doing travel ball. Are you playing Groton Rec for basketball? Which is great, and that's what I grew up experiencing. We weren't playing 40 or 50 games where that's what you do.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite? Do you speak any other languages?
We had French class,
French.
and then we also had Spanish.
That's what I think you'd use a lot.
We actually, I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, the middle school came in and passed out papers for us and was like, hey, you got to pick French or Spanish. I think I heard everyone pick Spanish, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions here. But
Listen, I think any language that you pick up and learn is great. I think especially in this area, probably Spanish maybe more useful. But if you go to college in Canada, you'd be wishing that you took French, I think.
You're going to be sitting there listening to gibberish and you're like,
yeah,
I'm listening.
Well, technology's changing too. I saw an app where you can put on your phone, and as the person was talking, it was translating the words to the person. So when you're speaking in English and you press Japanese, whatever you say will go right into the person's earpiece in Japanese if you're trying to do that. But I think it'd be nicer if you could learn their language. I think it's kind of cool.
I like how our school does that. I mean, we actually have a kid in our class who speaks Spanish, and the Spanish teacher kind of switches the questions around. It's like, hey, what's this in English? And he kind of sits there for a few seconds kind of confused, but over time he kind of gets it,
Yeah, and I don't want to give your parents a panic attack, but I'm going to ask you, do you want to drive or do you not? And the only reason I would never, ever ask this, nobody would have ever asked us this when we were kids, but a lot of the kids that are coming out of school now don't care if they have a driver's license or not because they're like, oh, I'll just Uber or I'll get on a train. Do you even think about driving, or is you too?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Is this something you want to do one day? Of course.
Maybe.
Maybe? No, it's funny because there's a lot of kids that are like 20 years old now that never drove a car, and then we'll have folks that are, and that's why I'm trying to bridge this gap. We talk about born political and the political part of it, but you guys are the new economy already. You don't even realize it yet. But if you're not driving, there'll be other things that are geared to what you do. If you like taking bicycles or whatever you want to do, electric bikes or whatever it is, we're planning for the new economy. So I think it's important when we tell you that you are the present. I mean it. So what do you think? Are you like you learn all that stuff in school? Like you'll probably be driving an electric car one day. I'm guessing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not really a fan of those electric cars.
You're not. What do you like? You like the fast engine big gas car?
I like BMWs.
BMWs.
See?
Well, unfortunately, if you want a new one, I think in the next 5 years they'll only be making electric ones. So you might have to drive an electric BMW. You know what? And your acting career is going to have to go really nicely too, because BMWs are a lot of money. I'm kidding. I think you're going to do great. Yeah, you're going to dish out the money like that. Don't forget your family. Never forget them. So what kind of what else are you interested in? I mean, we talked about sports, and is there a certain subject in school that you like? Can't wait to get to that class, and then one where you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to that class.
Well, I mean, I think my least favorite class of all is science. I don't understand one thing in science.
No.
The only science I know is Mentos and Coke.
So when Mentos and Coke, you can make a volcano, right? Or you can do a lot of different things with that. So you know what's funny? I hated geometry in school. I didn't understand why we were learning it at all. It was, why do I need to know what the measurement is on one side of a triangle? And then when I got out of high school, after claiming that I never ever needed it in my whole life, I became a sheet metal worker, and we use geometry every single day when we're making stuff. So the science part, sometimes it's hard to relate, because if you think that you're not going to use it for anything ever, it seems pointless. But there's a lot of things. Just keep going at it. It's not easy. So what's your favorite subject then?
Math.
Math.
Yeah.
Which is part of science in a way. So even more than, do you like the English class or that kind of? We
don't really do English yet.
Oh, you don't?
No. Not really.
You will in high school. That's coming up.
Yeah.
And then you can either love it or not love that one too. That's kind of one of those borderline ones.
Well, it is coming up in middle school though.
So you have middle school coming up.
Yeah.
You excited about that?
I'm excited. Oh my God, we were at the snack table and Autumn's like, who's excited for this? And everyone raised their hands. And then I yell, who's excited for middle school? And nobody raised their hand.
Nobody did anything.
No.
Wow. And I'm going to ask a current event thing, because it just happened, yesterday or 2 days ago. And obviously you saw it. Here's one thing that's different with you guys is, because do you have a phone?
Yes, I do.
You do. So in your pocket, believe it or not, you have access to more information than your parents, me, than any of us ever dreamt that we'd have. I think when we were your age, and I want to sound like old man, but when we had to find something, we'd go to the library and look it up in the encyclopedia, and that was about 15 books, and they pretty much A through whatever, and they tell you what happened in the world before we got here. And that's how we found everything. And now you literally can reach in your pocket and Google just about any question. And I'm not saying you're going to get the correct answer, because the internet's not perfect, but you're going to get an answer.
We learned that in science. He's like, tomorrow, we're in science tomorrow, we're going to figure out which water has more salt. He goes, I don't want to hear from your friend said this, or Google said this, or Siri said this. No. He goes, I want a real answer, and I want an explanation for it.
And where would you get it? Through your textbook? Is that what he was asking you to do?
We had we had for science, because science is in, so my class we're not going to take whatever social study or whatever we do in my teacher's class.
Yeah.
And then in the other class is social studies and sciences. In this one, I'm taking social studies right now, because science just ended.
Yep. So. And now in school, do they teach you guys? Do they talk about phone use? And can you bring your phone to school?
No, we cannot.
You can't. In the middle school, you will be able to, though, right?
Yes.
You will.
It's allowed on the bus and all the way to your locker, but as soon as you get to your locker, it's away.
So you technically can bring it to school. You just can't have it on you in the classroom.
Well, middle school.
Middle school, you can.
At our school, there is certain people who are allowed to bring it because of certain needs, but other than that, no one's allowed to bring them.
Yep. So and then and then you look at your phone, and that's what I said that a lot of people don't understand, and you will more than any other generation. I promise you, you're going to understand how our phones and technology do listen to us, and it's not always talking. It's when you look on something online, if you're browsing something, and right now, if I'm looking up a jacket, like for the next 3 weeks, every jacket that kind of looks like the one I was looking up will kind of pop up and kind of show me pictures with people on it. So you're going to be subject to all the time, every day, people selling something to you. And it's always been our whole history. Like there's always been ads in papers because we always used to look at a newspaper. So you have this thing, and it's just a different world. I mean, I'm excited for you guys because I think you're going to see some things that we never saw. Like who knows what the next great thing is. But having that phone in your pocket, do you like it? You like the phone?
I mean, it's a little different, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of like, it's like sacred. It's
Yeah.
like if I lose it, I'm done for.
Oh yeah.
It's like my doom is risen upon me.
Well, listen, that's never going to change. The one thing I had in common was growing up. I was lucky. I never had braces. I never had glasses. My brother and sister had both.
Oh.
So they would lose the retainer thing, and that was like $200, which was a massive amount of money back in the 80s. And when they lost those, I would get to watch my parents absolutely lose it on them. And then when they left their glasses somewhere, same thing. So the phone's just another item that you could lose that's very expensive.
Yes.
The good thing about that, though, is you can, with technology, your parents can probably press a button and find out where the phone is anyway.
Yeah, they can track my phone. They
Yep.
can track my watch, stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, that's a cool option. I know a lot of parents love that option to have on the kid.
So I have lost my phone once for like 2 weeks straight.
Lost?
Oh, well.
Lost for disciplinary
Well,
action?
No, not really. No, I kind of like dropped it somewhere and I couldn't find it. And
Okay.
they tried to ring for it and it was dead. And it just
Oh.
ended up being in the slit of my bed, like right in the back. And I would have never checked there.
Well, furniture eats electronic devices.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
like every time I go on the couch, I got to make sure I grab it with me.
I think the remote, I think I have to reinvent that. I think the remote should be the size of the TV. Because me and Tammy, like last night, we'll see. So I'm going to get to watch UConn tonight, so the remote stays in one spot and no one can touch it when I'm playing. Is that it? What do you think about what do you think about the future? You're all excited about the season? You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready for this season.
Yeah, and you start playing soon, right? You
Yeah.
You haven't played any games yet.
No, I think our first tournament is April 20th, I think.
April 20th. So the guys come out, they put up little signs behind your mom's head. They're telling me how much time we have left and how much time is to go. And I told you this was going to be a half hour, right?
Yeah.
You got 1 minute left.
Yay.
Yeah, right? It goes fast. And, thinking about this show tonight and what we're going to do and what we're going to talk about, because obviously there's a lot different between someone who's 10 and someone who's 53. But in the end, we're all the same. We really are. You have the same hopes and dreams I probably had. I didn't know what I wanted to be. Doctor wasn't probably one of them, but it's good to hear that we really haven't changed. So I want to thank you for coming on the show today, because I think people that watch us today that say, I don't know about these kids, they're different than us. When they watch this and get to talk to kids and hear them out, they'll understand that nothing's changed. And I couldn't be more happy or feel better about where we're going to go in our future because of who you are and who are you and your friend. I see you guys together, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for coming on the show, and maybe we'll do this again when we're talking college.
Maybe.
Sound good? Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Thanks for
No
coming.
problem.
All right. Good job.